Alright, so let's continue. In the last video, we finished up our polls component. So we connected the store, we got all the action creators, we created the view, as well as if they're if the user is authenticated, they have the buttons to change which polls are being used, and we're rendering it through a test page. Just as a note, we're gonna be using this test page a little later for styling purposes. So, uh, so for right now, we're gonna just focus on creating the application. So to do that, we're gonna start making the other pages. So homepage.jsx, and that is it's gonna look a lot like this. So I'm just gonna copy and paste, change test page to home page, like that, and then this is gonna be a div with two things inside of it. We're gonna want the polls. Make sure we close correctly, and we're also gonna want the error message component. And let's make sure we import it. Import error message from component error message, and then make sure our views has it. And since the home page is the root route, we're gonna put it at the very top. Routes exact path is gonna be slash, and then we render the home page like so. And then in our nav bar, let's make sure to have a home link. Link to home link. Okay. So the home page is going to be identical to the test page right now until we change test a little later. Login and register redirects to home if the user's logged in. If they're logged out, then we go to the auth component or the auth page. Alright, cool. So that was just a little setup and connecting things to the right places. Now, in here, I mentioned that the handle select, I actually want to use the history object, and the history object is passed down through this higher order component, the with router component. So the route, or I'll actually show it to you in the React DevTools. So in here, browser router, here's the router. So there's a history object, and there's also the match object. The match gives us access to the params, the path, the URL. The history is how we manipulate the browsers so that when we press back and forth here, we don't actually refresh the page or anything. We stay in our application, but it changes the routes and the associated components that it's being rendered. Okay. First things first, let's create our polls component, which is currently empty. So in here, the normal boilerplate. So from React, and let me check if this is supposed to be stateless or okay, it's gonna be stateless. So normal arrow function. It's actually gonna be bracket because we're gonna do some stuff before the return. So div, actually, let's make it work. Let's make sure it works. So poll works, and we're just gonna stick this in the test page. So change all polls or the word polls to singular version. Export default. That's right. Currently poll is not exported, so export default poll. And we test and the poll works. Alright, so our test is currently different now from our polls. I'm gonna close this really quick. Okay, so what do we need? Well, we're gonna need to connect this to Redux once again. Import connect from React Redux, and then the usual connect here. Restore, and we're gonna want the vote option or the vote action creator from the store. And then from the store, we want the current poll, which is stored in store.current poll. I think that's all we need. Yeah. So let's make sure we import vote from /store/actions. And then in here, make sure we are getting all the correct props. So poll and vote. Okay, that's a lot of boilerplate, but everything is connected correctly. Let's add some logic. So what do we want to return? Let's see. We're gonna change the actual content of the div. And let's do an H3. And here we're gonna display the polls question. And then do another div. And here we're gonna display the answers. Now currently answers is it's a JavaScript object, so we need to transform what's being stored in polls as something that is able to be rendered through JSX. So that we're gonna do it up here, right before the return. And let me check. All right, so const answers is gonna be equal to poll.options. Let's check if it exists, because I think there are cases where some questions or some polls don't have any options. But yeah, so if it exists, we're just gonna map it and make all the options turn into a button. I guess that's why I made it. Button with some stuff inside of it. So let's see. The button's gonna need a key, and it's gonna be the option._id, and then it's gonna hold the option.option. So option here refers to the actual objects stored in this array, and then the dot options is I believe it's the name that we're storing, but could be wrong. Ugh. Okay. And then for the button, we want to be able to vote. So vote, or I'm sorry, on click is going to be a function that calls the vote action creator. And we're passing in the poll's ID as well as the answer. Answer option dot option. So this is the first part is the path, and the second part is the data that we're sending in. So if you quickly reference the poll action creator to the vote, that is how we defined our function. So it wants to take in the path first, and then the data second. Okay, so save, and I believe we could test it. So test, nothing shows up because no route or no poll is selected. So if we click this and press test, we have the true false. And it's let's make sure our test has errors, just to show that it works. Div, let's add the error message, and we need to import that from // component / error message. Okay, so click false, no token provided. And that is because we are not sending in the token. Which is odd, because we should have a token. That is not the error that I was expecting. Let's see. Is authenticated, redirected, true. Are we logged in? True. No token provided. That's correct. Username, password, boolean, test, true. Okay, there we go. That's correct. And then true again. Already voted. All right. So it works. I guess we were logged out when I thought weren't. Okay, so poll looks pretty much done. Oh, right. We're gonna want to add in the actual pie chart. And for that, I'm using chart.js. And so there's a lot of documentation here that you could go over. I just want to show it here quickly so that you know that I didn't really come up with all of this off the top of my head. I actually had to look up how to use this API, and we're gonna do it right now. So the package that we need to install is going to be npm install chart.js, and then a nifty little React library, chart.js2, that will translate the native chart.js library into something that React can understand. And install everything. It should take a while. Okay, cool. Let's check our package.json to make sure it's updated. And there it is, chart.js 2. And I think that's all we need. Yeah, I think so. All right, let's add in the Where'd it go? In the chart. And we're gonna do it right here. So what does that look like? Alright, so we're gonna be using a pie chart. So import the pie from React chart.js to here, and then we're gonna put the pie right here, and the pie takes in data as props. Currently, we need to define the actual data that's being sent in. So let's do that here. Data currently undefined because we haven't defined it, and we're going to define it here. So data equals, and some little stuff. So labels is going to be poll.options.map option. So this is just changing the array of objects into array of strings. And then data sets is going to be an array with one object. Label is going to be the question. Background color is poll.options.map option color. Oh, right. That. Forgot to do that. We'll do that really quick. Border color is going to be this nice little hex that I added earlier. And finally, the data. Poll.options.map option.option.votes. Alright. Now we need to define this function, color function. And that is going to be, where did I add that? I'm gonna add it up here for right now. So const color equals a simple helper function that returns a random color. So it's gonna be math.random toString of 16 and slice 2 to 8. I mean, you don't have to worry about this too much, but what we're doing is generating a 6-digit hex value, prefixing it with the hash, and it's gonna return a hash, or not a hash, a hex color, and it's gonna associate a random color for each of the polls options. Alright, so the data is defined here. It goes into this prop from the pie, and the pie is here. And we save. Everything looks good. Okay. And let's check out the thing. So map of undefined. And that has to do with currently how this is set up. So now we go to test. Everything looks good. We vote on view. It fills up. And if we go to home again and check the other poll that we tested earlier, it's true or false. Now there is one caveat to just using a brand, like just a brand new random color every time, is that every time you vote, these colors will change, and you may not like that, but personally I kind of like the the strange transition every time something happens. So I kept it. You are free to create a different algorithm for generating colors, but that is how I did it. Okay, so I believe we've created all the components that we need. Um, oh, there's one last component that we need to make. Let's see if we have time to. Nah, this is already 20 minutes long, so I'm not going to. Instead, let's create a page for the polls. So yeah, let's create the poll page. So clear, because that will take a lot less time. So the home page is done. Yeah, home page is done. Well, almost done. And we just need to make a poll page. So touch source pages poll page.jsx opens it up. Import React from React. Import poll from component poll singular. Import error message from components error message const poll page equals match get poll and poll, and that is going to do this. Post equals window.location.href. Oh, I guess there's a couple things I need to go over here. Get poll match dot params dot id return a div with the error message and the poll, and of course don't forget to export. Okay, so a couple things. Why do I need this? I don't need this. Okay, well, let's see. So get poll, normally we would connect this to our Redux store, but we're actually gonna send it in through the parent of poll page. And then match.params.id comes from the React router. So this page should only render if the Windows URL points to the correct poll. And then if it does, then it'll render these correct components. But yeah. So in our homepage, we just need to change a couple things. Homepage. So we're actually going to send in some props. And all of those props is going to be available in the polls component. There's no discrimination here. We're just going to send in everything. Because these props are going to be coming from the route views, which also needs to change this to props, and this to be all of the props. And these props is going to be coming from the with router. And I believe that means we need to add in some stuff here. So that is, let's quickly check what we need. Get current poll. And then bring that in here. It's going to be in this one. Wait, no, not that one. This one. Get current poll. Of course, it's not defined because we need to add it here. Get current poll is coming from our actions. Store actions. And then finally, let's see, that is get current poll is going to be called in poll page, get poll. Oh, never mind. Polls, get current polls. And then handle select changes a little bit. Wait, let me check. Polls, all props, and that. Okay, sorry guys. A little bit of confusion just happened. So the handle select we're actually gonna change completely. So instead of get current poll here, we're gonna do this. So we're gonna get the history object that's coming from React Router, this dot props, and we're gonna do a history dot push. Let's use backticks. Poll slash ID. Oops. ID. So when we select a poll, we're gonna change the URL to poll slash ID, and that will effectively push or will effectively change our homepage to our poll page. And then the poll will have the current poll, which should be which we'll get from this. So get poll. Yeah, that should work. Because this is going to be called before this. So, all right, let's test this. Map of undefined. Oh, that's because that's a silly error. All right, so now when we click this, we go to poll slash ID. And poll slash ID is not in our routes. Oh man. Okay, so sorry if I seem a little unprepared, but yeah, I was unprepared. There's no excuse. All right, this is gonna be route exact path is equal to slash poll slash ID render, and this is a little different. So props is poll page. Spread out the props here. So make sure we bring in our poll page. Import poll page from dot dot slash pages slash poll page. And then in here we also need to send in get poll, which is going to be equal to the ID get current poll. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that should work now. So let's refresh. Click. Cannot read map of undefined. This is because that's coming from poll here. Poll here is current poll. Let's see. 30 minutes of just debugging. Great. Store, poll, data. Alright, well, I don't want to keep you guys for too long, so I'm going to just comment this out really quick and comment this out. And so our individual polls are working correctly. We click on Boolean, works. Truth or dare, also works. Alright, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be a quick fix, but I'm gonna do it off screen and figure out what the problem is. And then I will get back to you on the next video to fix this, as well as finishing out the rest of the application. Alright, see you guys next time.